Hello everybody! In this tutorial, I would like to talk about how to do the visualization and create graph out of your data using Seaborn library in Python. So in the previous tutorial, I have used the matplot in order to create visualization. However, in this tutorial, I would like to compare the functionalities and usabilities of these two packages. So as the previous tutorial, I'm using the Airbnb New York information in 2019 that I will leave the link of download for downloading this data. And in the case you don't know this data, I'm going to show you really rapidly what kind of info it is included. So let's deep dive in the code. As the first thing, I'm loading the libraries of the pandas and the Seaborn on top of my plot, on the top of my script. I'm reading the data, and then here we can see different information which are provided, such as the neighborhood group, the latitude, longitude, room type, price, and other information. So as the first code, here we can see the script that I have used before to count the values which are existed in the neighborhood group. So we can see how many rooms do we have for each neighborhood group, which we can see here, such as Brooklyn on Manhattan. And then I'm setting some kind of parameters, such as the title, the changing the size of the visualization, setting the label for X and Y axis, and then rotate the labels of information in the neighborhood group. So as you can see, this is the output of this script. As we can see, the number of the rooms for each neighborhood group and the configuration that I have set here, they're all presented in my figure. So I'm going to do exactly the same using Seaborn functions. So the first thing first is that I'm changing the figure size on the top of my plot. Then for counting the numbers of values in a specific column, you can use the count plot by passing the column that you would like to apply this function on top of it. And then with the function set, we can set different configuration, such as the X label, Y label, and the title. And there you go. We can see exactly the same kind of information using the Seaborn functions. So let's go for another type of the plot, which is a scatter plot, that we can compare two functions, two features out of the data set. So here, this is what we have used in the matplot. So I'm calling scatter by specifying the two columns that I would like to display. Then I'm setting the color of the points, then setting the title, Y label, and X label. So there you go. And let's see how we can do this exactly in the Seaborn. So for the Seaborn, as I forget here, I have resized the plot. Then I'm calling the scatter plot, which you can see here. I did really small changes here, that I specified the data value, which is the data frame that I'm using, which is Airbnb. So this is helping that I don't need to write later on the X and the Y values. Before I had to write Airbnb and then specifying the column that I would like to use. However, by specifying your data exactly here, you are going to have shorter code, and you just need to specify the name of column that you are going to use. So in this example, which is a neighborhood group and the price, I'm setting the color green, and then in the set function, I am setting what I want to do. So there you go. We can see exactly the same kind of information which is presented here. Let's do the same for another type of information, which I want to see how the prices for each neighborhood group is changing based on the room type. Okay, so there is an extra, let's say, parameter here, which is called hue. And then I'm specifying the third variable that I would like to add to this plot. Let me execute this code and then we can see what is the output. As you can see, we have the legend here, which is called room type. So exactly the column that I added here, which is divided into three groups: private room, entire home and apartment, and shared room. So here we can see in different neighborhood group the different colors, which is assigned with the category level of the room type. And it is giving us extra information, such as, like, let's see, in Manhattan, most of the data are distributed along the entire home and apartments. However, in the Queens, we can maybe find more shade room and so on. So this is going to help you to get extra correlation between different variables. However, if you would like to add another level of the complication to your graph, there is another parameter, which is called size. So here I have a specified number of the reviews that we can see. Let's see. I'm executing the code. As you can see, to this legend, it is added extra part of extra information, which is number of reviews that is distributed from 0 to 750. So the circle that we can see here, the size of them can change based on the values on the number of the reviews. So I expect to see like the number of the apartments which are having high number of reviews. This circle I expected to see with more bigger size. However, as you can see here, we don't see a lot of changes in the circles. So maybe they're a bit smaller with respect to this graph that we can see, which means that most of the rooms in this dataset are having really a small number of the reviews. Or since the data are really shortened here in general, we don't see the number of the rooms which are having high number of the reviews. So this was just an introduction to give you some insight about extra parameter that you can include in your graphs. So another interesting plot that you can see here is using the data of latitude and longitude using exactly the scatter plot. So I have included X and Y here, and then I have added the color based on the neighborhood group. So let me run this. And there you go. So we can see the distributed information of the geographical position of each data in the dataset based on the latitude and longitude, and their colors is specified based on the neighborhood group. So here we can see Brooklyn is located here, and then Staten Island is located here. So this is like kind of interesting information to display using just a scatter plot. And then the last graph that I would like to display here is box plot that I would like to compare the distribution of the values together. So let's say I have included the neighborhood group and availability in 1 year in the box plot, and in the box plot you can see the most distribution. You can compare the common distribution between the different neighborhood group. So let's compare the data. In the Brooklyn, most of the availabilities are located between 0 to 200 days. However, in the Staten Island, it is differentiate between around, let's say, 90 days and 325 days. So this is going to help you to compare the level of the information in the different groups, and it gives you some extra insight in order to do more deep dive analysis. So that's it. It was really short introduction using the Seaborn package. I hope it was useful for you. So please check extra documentation, which is located on the bottom of this video. And if you have any problem or question, please send me email or specify in the comment. Hope to hear you soon, and happy learning.